Hi Mom, this is going to be close to one of the final videos, at least for the build. I'll probably do a separate for the testing. So I got everything handled. The fans at the top go to the back, like I said. And then I tried to my best to keep everything out of the bottom, which worked pretty well. So I came up with this. I'm going to rotate the case here. I guess set a plan to bring everything around the bottom. So essentially what I did is I took these vertical fans, brought this down, tied it because I had a lot of ties, tied it there, went under there, tied it again, tied it here, tied it there, and then the fan controller is over here on the back. I have one temperature probe up over here. I got another temperature probe back there because it might be a dead zone behind the card. And then over here I have the SATA cable and the communication cable going back into there to try and minimize how much I have to go over the case, but I can't go under because there's 3 fans down here. So for the 3 fans down there, I took the cables, drew them back here, came up here as well. So that's done, 6 there. Took a lot of time to do that, but I got all 3 of the PCIe for the graphics card. They're all lined up, and it basically feeds into this board here. And then there's the riser here that feeds into the motherboard, and then the liquid cooling pump, and then the power for the pump, and then to communicate with the motherboard, and then the CPU power, and then the motherboard power, and then everything else. And you can't really see down here, but all the USB headers there for communications are all there. I wired it to the back, and actually, believe it or not, the back was actually less work than the front, just because of how many fans I had to suspend the cables down. So you can see here I take the top fans, group it there. I kept that one single because I don't want the ROG sign to be obstructed, so I had to wire it on the back. And then what I actually did is I took some of my adhesive and put it on top of the motherboard and adhered it to make sure that it's not blocking that, because that's going to light up with LEDs. Brought it down, tied, put the second fan controller here, and then the SATA cable, communication cable connects here, and then I took the daisy chain cable to connect to the motherboard. That goes under there, comes out the front, and then connects there. These are the 3 different 2 CPU, and then the 1 additional auxiliary power, and behind that I have the 3 graphics card power, and then the 3 SATA cables, 1 for this controller, 1 for the other controller, and 1 for the front panel. And that's basically it. I also anchored this here to make sure that there wasn't any movement that would touch the motherboard there. And that's pretty much it. I think it was about 6 hours of work, much longer than I thought. But I think the end result is pretty good. I'm happy they're white cables. I'm happy the cable ties matched up, and ready to boot it up. Obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but I'm not going to do that until tomorrow because I worked too much on this today. So basically what I'm going to do here is similar to what I've seen on other builds. I have the cables recessed as far as I can, and then this controller is basically just gonna sit up here, and it is magnetic, but it's not magnetic here, so maybe it's not, but it's basically just gonna sit there. And that's pretty much what everybody did with their builds, is you want one of the controllers to be behind. Putting them both in front looks ugly, so they just kind of sit there, which is fine. And that's basically it. I'll put the glass on, close it, power it up tomorrow, do a light test, flash the BIOS, flash the operating system, and then begins the long, painful process of copying over all the software and files. But this is definitely an experience. I'm really glad I did this.